In this demo, you will learn how to add custom emission factors. Custom emission factors are useful when you need supplier-specific values or factors from specialized databases which are not in the standard Futureproofed database. Let's get started. First, navigate to Settings in the bottom left corner of your screen. Then, click on Custom Emission Factors. You'll see a table that shows all your existing custom emission factors. To create a new factor, click on the New Emission Factor button in the top right corner. This opens up this emission factor panel. Now let's focus on filling in the required fields, which are the ones that are marked with an asterisk. First is type. This is the category of activity or material your emission factor applies to, like grid electricity, chemicals, or waste types. As you start typing, you will see autocomplete suggestions based on existing emission factor types. We recommend using existing nomenclature to keep your factors organized and consistent. Next is unit, the measurement for your activity data. Common units include kilograms, kilometers, or kilowatt hours. Location specifies the geographic region or country where this emission factor applies. You'll find a list of countries in this dropdown. Source is where your emission factor comes from. This could be a database name, a publication, or the name of a supplier. Validity from indicates the start date when this emission factor becomes applicable in your calculations. Now, for emission factor values, you are able to fill in either the total value or the direct and upstream values. For emission factors being used in Scope 3 calculations, filling in the total value is enough. For factors being used in Scope 1 and 2 calculations, it's important to fill in the emission factor broken down in the direct and upstream parts, so that their corresponding Scope 3 energy-related emissions can be correctly calculated and reported. There are also optional fields available. Subtype is useful for more specific classification of the activity type. In link, you can add a hyperlink to the data source. Description is useful for adding additional context and documentation. Valid until is useful for time-bound factors. In detailed greenhouse gas components, you can add details in terms of greenhouse gases and biogenic emissions, if you have that information available. For emission factors with forest and agricultural impact, you can fill in the flag percentage at the bottom. You may fill in these optional fields as needed for your tracking requirements and also based on your available information. Once you have filled in all required fields, click Save. This saves your emission factor, but doesn't publish it yet. To make the factor available for use in your calculations, you need to publish it. In this table view, find your emission factor and click the Publish button under the Actions column. You can then click on Publish. Now your custom emission factor is available and accessible. Let's explore also a few handy features in this table. In this Columns button, you can toggle which columns you want to see in the table. And if you need to export everything, just hit the Export button and you will get an Excel file. You've also got filtering and sorting for this table, so you can view your factors however you need. You can unpublish factors if you need to take them offline and publish them again via this button under the Actions column. You can also delete emission factors entirely. And that's it. Check out the related videos if you need more help with selecting emission factors or entering data.